The Congo by Chase, Pope, Elena, and Kennedy.
The Belgian colonists forced the Congo people into working as an army. The forced imposition of order demonstrates how the Belgians believed that they were responsible for making Congo society more civilized, revealing their belief in their white man's burden. The Belgian king in this image is represented by a snake, hurting and abusing a Congo man. The fact that the Belgians believed they could morally take advantage of Congo people and not Europeans demonstrates how they believed they were superior to people of Congo. The Belgians' belief in their own superiority demonstrates social Darwinism.
As you can see in this primary source, a letter from King Leopold of Belgium to all the Belgian agents working in the Congo, the white man's burden is expressed. When the king states the aim is to regenerate races whose degradation and misfortune is hard to realize, he is expressing the white man's burden belief system by saying that Belgium needs to help other races because they are misfortunate.
We have two maps here that show Belgium or Congo beforehand and afterhand. In the first picture, it's where they're independent, and in the second one, it shows the paths Belgium took to conquer in the different trading areas, and you can see by the key all the different key points of the map.
In the Congo after World War II, there was a large rise of political parties led by the Congolese elites. Most parties were fighting for rights and representation from Belgium, and as Belgium was giving the Congolese minimal control over their land. The Parti Solidaire Africain, formed in 1959, was fighting for direct independence from Belgium. The Parti Solidaire Africain promoted national pride and unity and staying calm and not engaging in violence. This was far more productive than other parties which had protested and been violent and caused backlash from the force publique as seen on the right. The Parti Solidaire Africain participated in a boycott of a Belgium election which showed Belgium that the colony was a lost, unprofitable cause not worth saving or going to war. The original desire of King Leopold II in Congo was latex. Most of Africa had a large selection of these latex trees. The trees could be cut directly down the stem and the latex would fall on the person cutting, and coagulate into rubber, just harden into rubber. Between 1890 and 1913, there was a rubber boom throughout Europe and the United States, mainly because of the invention of the bicycle and the automobile. Edmund Dean Morrell was a British shipping clerk who supervised the Belgian port. He noticed that while the Congo Free State exported tons of raw rubber to Belgium, little was shipped back except guns and bullets. He guessed correctly that many natives needed to collect the rubber were forced to do so at gunpoint. He wrote, "I had stumbled upon a secret society of murderers with a king for a partner." Before his accusation of the Congo, King Leopold II was a below-average European king. Leopold was in a minority of European countries that had no colonies. At the Conference of Berlin in 1885, Leopold II acquired the Congo and made the land his private property. He named himself the Sovereign King. The Force Publique, Leopold's private army, was used to enforce the rubber quotas. Throughout Leopold's reign of the Congo, the Force Publique brutally enforced these quotas, not to mention the way in which the rubber was collected. Rubber sales created a fortune for Leopold, who built several buildings in Brussels and Ostend to honor himself and his country. King Leopold II went from an average, lousy European king to an extremely wealthy king through rubber.
Belgium's GDP grew exponentially between 1913 and 1973 due to Congo's rubber production. This meant that the Belgian economy was wealthier and more stable.
The Belgians in Congo used the natives as forced labor to produce rubber. They took and traded resources from the Congo for profit, while leaving Congo without economic stability. The use of Congo people for forced labor and profiteering from forcefully taken resources provided Belgium with economic profit while hurting the Congo's economy. This image illustrates rubber being prepared by Congo natives in preparation of sale for profit by Belgium. The forced labor of the Congo people and the stealing of their resources provided Belgium with economic profit at the expense of the Congo. The image demonstrates how Congo people were forced to work to provide profit for Belgium. The Congo people are mining Congo resources to provide economic profit for Belgium at their own expense.
Belgians immigrated to Congo by railroads and roads constructed by forced Congolese labor. Government agents and missionaries had the same roles in Belgium, but in the Congo they had higher status and more control over what happened. Belgians migrated to Congo to serve as missionaries for the Congolese. Missionaries often brought their children with them and put them into designated schools for the other missionaries' children, which increased the European population in the Belgian Congo. Other Belgians went to Congo to work as miners, soldiers, civil servants, and some even became the owners of mining companies. As a result of the Catholic Church's influence, many Congolese children grew up learning about Christianity. Today, over 75% of Congolese people identify as Christians. To gain control of the Congo, the Belgian government sent soldiers who were required to kill one Congolese person using one bullet, and to bring a part of the corpse back to prove it. After the soldiers used their bullets for other things like hunting, they would chop off the hands of other Congolese people to make it seem like they were doing their job. Congolese people also had their hands cut off if they didn't meet the Belgians' unrealistic rubber quotas. Many rebellions broke out from 1908 to 1960 to protest European rule and their disregard for human rights. In 1959, the Congolese rebelled and achieved their independence, creating the Republic of Congo.
The images demonstrate how some consumers benefited from the increased availability from rubber products for bicycles and automobiles. They also demonstrate how a few people, such as the King of Belgium in the right image, as proved by his expensive attire, profited massively from the industrial capitalist practices in the Congo.
This is our works cited page.